Wow, what a difference. The Talkbuster Podcast. Hi, I'm Chris Chipman. You may remember me from such podcasts as the Chipman Brothers Tangent and Creating Geeks, a parenting podcast of great responsibility. I'm here to bring you back to the late 90s, early 2000s, a time of Amrays and clamshells, a time of late fees and VHS tapes being replaced by DVDs, a time of stale gumballs and overpriced candy. Yes, that's right. I am talking about the time of Blockbuster Video, the Walmart of the video rental industry, the mom-and-pop video store killer, the corporate big choice video store that everybody loved to hate. Kids today will never know the crazy Friday and Saturday nights with lines wrapped around the store to rent the next big movie. No more will regulars who are in the know arrive at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays to snatch up the new rentals that week before the weekend rush. Most of all, no longer will young movie geeks like myself have the memories I, and many others like me, made while working there. You see, under all of the corporate evil and bad practices, Blockbuster was a home, a comfort, a place where I made lifelong friends and even met my wife. It is because of these memories that I, and I'm sure many of you, have, that the Talkbuster Podcast was created, a place for me and others to share our memories of what once was, of the before time, of the long, long ago. I'm looking forward to see where this goes, how it evolves. Join me, won't you?
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Talkbuster Podcast. This is what I'm calling the third special edition episode. And the reason I'm calling these special editions is because the entirety of this show up to this point has been me talking about something that didn't exist anymore. It's about me talking with people from the video industry, from working at Blockbuster, from back when I used to work there. And I didn't think it was fair to have a continued Talkbuster Podcast numbered episode when I'm talking to a specific store, the Blockbuster Video in Bend, Oregon, that actually still exists. So I've decided, kind of like a DVD special edition, that this is a special edition of the podcast, this last little bit of an industry that we've been kind of giving like a rest in peace to on this podcast that still exists. So I have a very special and I hope to keep having people from the store and these guys back from time to time just to give the world an update on how they're doing. But tonight I have Ryan Harding, who is Sandy Harding's son, who is the general manager of the Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. And Ryan, I believe you're the assistant store manager. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm the assistant store manager, and then I also run the Instagram.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, cool. So subscribe to the Instagram, everybody, and that's Ryan. So Ryan, introduce yourself. So tell everybody about yourself, man.
Like you said, I am Ryan Harding, and I am Sandy's youngest son, and I am the third son who has been a manager or assistant manager. Both my brothers were both assistant and managers. One of them at the same store and one in Redmond, which was also owned by us. But so I do that, and then I also am a freelance videographer slash, like I said, I run the Instagram, so I do some photography, and then I do that on the side as well. And then I love to travel and everything, and that's basically me.
That's cool. I not as up to date on the more current technology, but I don't know if you've been by my YouTube channel, but I've started finding a lot of my older movies and stop motion animations and stuff I made, because out of my group of friends that used to all make stuff together, I was the videographer. So I just need to get, more used to doing things on cell phones and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, for real. That's how it's moved to, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all on the cell phone.
So you're 18, Ryan?
Yeah. I turned 18 last November.
So you were born in 2000?
Yep.
So you've been alive since the year I started working at Blockbuster, which is the year your mom started working, if I'm not mistaken. She told me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of wild. So here I am. I lived through, the kind of the rise and then dying out, and you've kind of just existed only kind of get your own little like thing there, right? Like you're up in Oregon and you're surrounded by Blockbusters that are doing well.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is it? I forget their names. Is it Ken
Mhm.
Who are the name of the two people that own the store?
It's Ken and Debbie Tischer.
Ken and Debbie Tischer. And
Mhm.
they had like 5 of them, right?
Yeah, at one point they did have 5 stores. Yeah.
That's really cool. So, you're over there in a corner of the country that, that I mean, what's it like? What's it like, kind of growing up in a house with, your mom, you know, working at a place? I mean, talk about, when Blockbuster was at like its peak, because she was there during that. And then
Yeah.
kind of after 2010 and everything, when it started kind of disappearing everywhere. What was that whole living through all that like?
So it was cool, it's always nice being able to have the newest and the best movies every single week of your life growing up. So never had to worry about, free rentals or anything like that because she always had them. So that was nice. And then also, I don't know, it was cool. She would always pretty much be involved at Blockbuster, even back in the day when I was really conscious of that when I was about like, I don't know, 5 and up. And she would used to have me come and work there and help out and help put movies away sometimes when I was younger, just because I would be excited to even be a part of anything and it was fun. So I've always kind of been involved and I've always loved Blockbuster, so it's really nice to be able to actually be such a have such a big role in it now. So it's always kind of been such a big deal in my life and such a big part of it. So, to continue to be able to have that, it's kind of what's kept me there for so long because I've been working there for 5 years now. So, or it'll be 5 years in November. So, yeah, I've always had those thoughts of going out and getting a different job, which I've had plenty of other jobs on the side and stuff that I've done, but I've pretty much always stayed loyal to Blockbuster because it's always been a big deal in my life, even before it was the last anything, and that was only the last year or so. So now it's even more of a reason to stay and work there, but it's always been something that I've never wanted to let go of.
That's awesome. And I've always kind of felt that way, as you can probably tell. I don't know if you've listened to any of the show prior to you guys being on, but I can't. I always kind of sit back and think it's kind of silly, and people kind of that don't, that aren't from my group of friends and didn't work there always kind of go, man, you guys talk about Blockbuster a lot, and it's just, you know, it it's one of those things where I didn't even realize we were doing it.
Hmm.
It was just always part of what we talked about, and every story we have of a cool movie that came out in the movie theater. We were all at Blockbuster together, reading like the entertainment weeklies and everything coming in and, going like, oh man, I can't wait for that to come out. And we'd go as a store or as, like a few of us would go, and so that became, it wasn't like a job as much as it was like, this is where we go to hang out. You know what I mean? And get information on top of, it also was our job. So it was really interesting. And, I, I came into it from your side. I started working there very young. So I was like 16, 17 years old when I started. And, everyone I was working with was in their mid 20s to early 30s.
Hmm.
So before the store disappeared, like this was, their retail career. So I was in a very different place, but we all still kind of share, that same thing of, yeah, it didn't really matter how little they were paying us. And it didn't really matter how, you know, you didn't have this problem, but we had corporate was kind of awful, and the things they
Yeah.
tried to make the store do, but that never tarnished the store for me. Like I can look at a Blockbuster logo and it brings me joy instead of, looking at a Blockbuster logo and thinking of, some kind of evil company that, kicked everyone else off and was there. So it's interesting. And, thinking about you, being young and seeing your mom work there, my dad, who's no longer with us, um, he worked at the Daily Evening Item in Massachusetts, which when I was a kid, the newspaper business was booming, you know, and so my dad being the general manager of a newspaper, a newspaper that, um, worked in line with the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald and places like that. It's like, oh man, and it's right in the city I grew up in. It's a family-owned business. Like that brought me a lot of joy. So when I was a kid, it's like that fascinated me because he'd bring us in because the papers get printed overnight. So he'd bring me in when they were getting printed, and we could go in and look at the press. And, I can just see that same kind of thing where, you get to come into this video store before you're old enough to work there. And there's something special about like where your parent works. You kind of look up to it, especially when it's something that becomes like part of the conversation in your household. I had never really thought about that till right now, the thing with my dad and that, but it's like, you don't get too many people, in your age group that, have had that experience with this type of place.
Yeah. No, that's for real, because I mean, growing up when I was a kid, I would always be like, yeah, my mom's the general manager at Blockbuster, and I would always kind of like be really proud of that and make sure that I would, I wasn't trying to be cocky or anything, but I would like tell people that at school and stuff, because like it was an interesting thing that was happening in my life, and I would always come to work with like a Blockbuster shirt on, because when I would go and help my mom put away movies, like she would have me wear a shirt, just because, I mean, what kid wouldn't want to, be like like a completely, I don't know, just like an employee. But that's something that I would do. I would go to school with a shirt on, and sometimes even like a name tag, because I thought it was so cool. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Why wouldn't you, right? And that's such a cool thing. Especially to hear, dude, and like, not to go on an aside, but it's really good to talk to you. I was thinking, God, I'm 35 and don't think of that. I don't think of my age. I still think like I'm that 17, 18, 19-year-old kid, working at Blockbuster when I do this show. So I feel like even though, I'm twice your age or whatever, screw that, whatever. But, we can connect, over this just the same way as, with your mother, who's a little bit older than, not much, but a little bit. I was able to connect with her, and I'd never spoken with her before.
Yeah.
And it's great that we have this thing that can connect us, even though we've never crossed paths and we live on a completely different side of the country. And that you still have it, and that you recognize, even like with that big age gap, you recognize how special it kind of is. That going into a place and walking through. I mean, I saw some of the news broadcasts, the little puff pieces they did with you guys, and people talked about, here's a parent talking to their kid. Well, on a Friday night, me and your mom would go and on a date, and we'd rent a movie and order a pizza, and that's what we did. We came to Blockbuster, and it's like, yeah, I remember doing that. And so that's really cool. But you still got that. So that's cool.
I agree completely.
Yeah, go. So I was gonna say, so what's your favorite thing that's happened in your time working there? And if you have more than one, go for it. But either something that happened in the store or something that happened in your life that had something to do with the company, or something related to it. Like what do you got?
Well, actually, there's a few different things. I mean, as a younger kid, one thing that I really stuck out was, I don't know, it's nothing really that was like anything good for the store, but it was something that I did that I was really proud of. But one time I was like biking down the street, and me and my friend noticed there were some like Blockbuster movies on the side of the road, and they were completely like broken, and they were rental copies clearly. And I knew that because I'd seen them so many times. And they were the classic white logo, or I mean, white case with, the Blockbuster logo with the label on them and everything. So
Yep.
I was like, that needs to go back to the store. That's not a purchased movie. I was like, why would somebody just toss that on the side of the street? So I looked into it a little bit, and then I brought them home to show my mom, and she took them to the store and found that they were movies that were still supposed to be on the shelf and that were stolen. So she had gone through, found the people on the tape, and eventually it led to me basically finding the people that had rented movies that they didn't know about. So they got they were arrested, and we got our movies back basically. But I don't know, it was something that I thought was pretty cool, because I was able to, identify the fact that they were Blockbuster rentals instead of, PRPs. And I don't know, do something good for the store. And then another thing that I recently have have been really proud of, and I don't know, loved about the whole experience is being able to run this Instagram and everything, because I don't know, this photography thing is something that I've been super passionate about for the last couple of years of my life. So to be able to actually be able to apply it somewhere where I can be able to show how much I love like the store, and also be able to represent the store, and it takes me plenty of places, and it's like a place where I can go and actually do what I love and do what I also love on the side, which is filming and taking pictures. So it's a win-win, and it's, I don't know, it's the best thing that I've been able to do for myself and the store combined yet. So
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm gonna have to start following the Instagram because I didn't even know it existed. I know Sandy was sharing me pictures from it, of like the photos of the stuff for sale and everything. That's really cool. So what kind of things, I'm not on there yet, but to push people towards it, what are you doing with the Instagram?
so for a while it was something like I wasn't taken too seriously because I was really trying to focus on my own work, and it wasn't really anything that was a big priority. But it was basically started when we became the last in America, and we were getting tons of news coverage. So I came to them with the idea, and I said, social media is such a huge aspect of, I mean, the world. So mostly when I started it, it was like few pictures of the inside of the store, and this was before I had the camera I have now. So the quality difference from the first few pictures and the pictures now, you can kind of tell. But I was mostly starting off with taking pictures of just the store and the stuff we had for sale. And at the time, we really only had like T-shirts and some stickers and stuff. And we've definitely upgraded now. But there's a ton of pictures of what we have for sale and what we offer. Like for merchandise wise, but I also have taken pictures of stuff like outside of the store that we've come across. Like there's a few cool rocks that people bring in. There's a thing called the Bend Rock Exchange, and then there's also like the Northwest Rock Exchange and the Seattle, Washington Rock Exchange. So people basically paint rocks and then place them in cool picture or places, and then take pictures of them, post them to their website, and then they keep or rehide the rock. So they basically will do like a Blockbuster themed one. So we've had like Captain Marvel, we've had ones for Stranger Things, and we've had one for just Blockbuster Bend and stuff. So there's a few pictures of that kind of stuff. And then also there's pictures from when I went to London just not too long ago for Blockbuster. So there's just a whole bunch of different stuff on there.
That's awesome. Now, do they do like do they hide them and do like a geocache kind of thing? Or
Yeah,
is it
that's exactly what it is basically. But it's not, they're not like marked on any app like Geocache is, but I was thinking about getting involved with that and trying to go and get a Geo Box set in our store. So I was thinking putting it inside of like a DVD case. That would be kind of cool.
oh, that'd be awesome. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
Have it float around the store.
Yeah, no, I was thinking just like a case that you could like open, and it would clearly be like, because we have some cases for like employee picks and stuff, so we illustrate those cases, and we have those like in various places in the store because it
Oh,
has
so you illustrate your own employee favorites?
yeah,
Oh,
which is
cool. Tell me a little bit about that because we had them for a bit and then corporate made us stop because damn you individuality. Um,
right.
but what for example, what are your employee favorites?
So I actually used to have four because there used to be two Ryans working at the store, and then when the other Ryan left, well, actually, so I started working, and then I took a break to go work in a different location. So he took my employee picks case that I had, and then when I came back, I realized he took mine, so I illustrated my own other case, and then when he left, that therefore I had two employee picks sections. So right now, I have Boondock Saints, Training Day. I have Hustle and Flow, and What's the other one I have on there? I think it's Fight Club. Yeah,
Nice. One of my
yeah,
favorites.
yeah. No, it's
So
my
did
favorite
you
too.
know that Boondock Saints was a Blockbuster exclusive when it first came out?
I didn't know that.
How
That's
ironic is that? Yeah,
yeah.
so it was a Canadian production, and they filmed most of it in Toronto, and then obviously the exterior shots that are supposed to be in Boston, they filmed in Boston.
Yeah.
And we had two copies at our store, and we're a Boston suburb, right? Just
Uh-huh.
north of Boston. So we could not keep those damn things in the store. And
I
getting another copy was really hard because, every Blockbuster got like two of them or something
oh,
like that. And it was before it became a big deal. So that's so cool that you didn't, because I'm sure
yeah.
yours isn't the old Blockbuster exclusive box, because that was when it was on VHS. You
Yeah,
know?
no, because there's a ton of DVDs around the store that have the old Blockbuster exclusive cases or the inserts at least. That like it clearly tells, and like I think those are so cool. Like when I get to see the people checking them out, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of a rare piece because we have
It's a
copies.
relic.
Yeah, because we have to buy copies of movies all the time, and when we buy them now, I mean, they won't say that. So, I mean, to keep those in circuit and like have people not keep those copies, for instance, I mean, that's pretty cool because there are a few of them. I can't think of any off the top of my head. There's a few John Cusack ones. There's a
Yep.
few, yeah, I don't know, but um, I don't know. Yeah, that's awesome. If we had one at the store with Boondock Saints, I would definitely probably take that
It's
because
it's a great movie. I love Boondock Saints.
oh, it is. It's so good. But I constantly switch them out. Actually, sorry, one of them is Alpha Dog right now. I don't know if you've ever seen Alpha.
Oh, yeah, no, Alpha Dog was great. That was who was in that?
Justin
Um,
Timberlake, Anton
Justin Timberlake.
Yelcovich, Ben
Yes.
Foster. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was fantastic. That was a lot better than I'd given it credit for, because it was like, oh, everyone's saying this is good. I'm gonna check it out. And it was an intense little movie.
It is. It's actually one of my favorite movies. It's definitely in my top three.
Have you ever seen Brick?
Um, I haven't seen that, but it sounds familiar. Like I've seen the cover.
I have a feeling like you'd really dig Brick after. So Brick is the guy that made The Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Um, this was like his second movie, I think, and it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it. The I don't know if you know Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but
Yeah.
he's in Inception and a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff. And he the cool thing about the movie is it's kind of like in the genre of like Alpha Dog and movies like that, where it's a you know young kids like gangster kind of movie in a
hmm
high school. But
Oh, okay.
instead of like they have it set nowadays, but they all talk like they're in an old like 1940s film noir.
Hmm.
So it's like they talk like they're in an old gumshoe movie, but they're all dressed like kids now. So it's
Huh.
like, like drug dealer kid, down the street is, dressed up, like Fred Durst, or whatever. But
Yeah.
he's talking like he's like a gangster in like a Dick Tracy movie. It's really weird.
That,
Like it,
that throws you off for sure.
and it works surprisingly well. It's a mystery movie. But yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
that it just after hearing yours. So what are some of the other favorites you've had? This is intriguing me now.
Well, geez. So the last few that I've gone through were Place Beyond the Pines was on there recently.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a movie.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's like it's one of the few movies that I've noticed that is like split into three parts, like honestly, within one movie. And
Yep,
it's crazy. I had The Machinist on there not too long ago.
nice. Another
Yeah,
local guy,
yeah,
Brad Anderson, Boston guy.
I love Christian Bale too. Like really anything Christian Bale's in. He's honestly one of my few favorite actors.
Yeah, he's great. Have you ever seen Session 9?
I haven't seen that.
Christian
Is
Bale's
that
not in that, but the guy that made The Machinist made it. It's
is that a horror movie?
yeah, I actually talked about it with your mom.
Yeah, I
It
think I
was my
have.
they filmed it in an actual mental hospital around here that you could go to for a while. It was all, closed up, and you know,
Huh.
if you were so inclined, you could break in there and go wander around when you were a teenager. But they were tearing it down in real life and shot a horror movie there about a group of people working in it, and weird stuff starts happening. And it's just as strange as The Machinist. If you like The Machinist, it's in that same vein.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I feel like my mom might own that.
she probably does because she said she's seen it.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I've actually ended up watching it, but no, that sounds very familiar.
It's a
That's
good movie
no, it
if you
sounds.
like horror movies.
Yeah, I do. I love horror movies, but and psychological thrillers. That's like another big thing for me. Um, which yeah, like I had it's not necessarily a psychological thriller, but it's good. It's Primal Fear. Primal
Yep,
Fear. Yeah,
good
that's
old
something.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, it's one of his first. I think it may
Him and
be his
what?
first.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a fantastic movie. Yeah, that
yeah,
was the one where he was playing like the simple guy that got like taken advantage of, and the lawyer. Yeah, oh yeah, and then he's
yeah,
pulling a fast one on everybody. Yeah,
yeah.
that movie was him and Robert Redford. No, not
It's
Robert Redford.
it's the guy from Beautiful Woman, or I mean Pretty
Yeah,
Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah,
Wow, it's late, so I should
I
know
know me
this.
too. All
We'll
right,
we'll
I'm
get
like
there.
there.
No, man.
uh,
So you've got some good choices there, man. I
uh,
uh I wasn't delving to that stuff. Well, no, probably right around 17. That's when I like kind of opened up out of just action movies and comedies and horror movies.
yeah. No, like I love drama movies. That's honestly like anything that I watch nowadays that I'm like, that was a really good movie. It's usually kind of a drama or some comedy movies. I mean, I've had comedy movies in my picks, of course. Like my one of the best comedy movies ever is got to be. I mean, there's old ones that are very good, but I think Superbad is just
Yeah, you're
absolute gold.
you're talking to a huge super bad fan.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
that
Um,
is
and
an.
I really liked the follow up movie that guy made, and it wasn't as funny. You ever see Adventureland?
Yeah, I love
I
that movie.
loved that movie, and like I saw it, they brought it to our college. So what they would do is they'd get like the local film companies to show a movie early at like a college campus. So it's like, oh man, it's a movie from the guy that made Superbad, and I remember being like the only person in my group of friends that loved Adventureland. Like this is great, and they're like, that was stupid, and I'm like, no, this is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah,
Um,
Ryan Reynolds playing a complete
I
jerk.
know, I know, dude. It's like I don't know. It's a good role for him. Like
It
I don't know
was.
him in like Waiting. That's another great, really
Yeah,
good comic movie. Like
waiting
it's
the as I put it, clerks in a restaurant. That's but it
exactly.
worked so well.
Yeah, it's really raunchy, but it is good. Like I don't recommend it to a ton of people, but it's good.
Now waiting was really funny. I love that whole walk around sequence where they're kind of breaking the fourth wall and talking to the camera and telling you how the place really works. But as soon as they come out into the restaurant, they're being happy, and then they go back into the
Yeah,
kitchen, and they're making fun of the people and like doing
yeah.
horrible things to their food. It's like this
I
is
know.
awesome.
It really opens your eyes because after that movie, really, I mean, there's a few different ones that really kind of showed you the how it can be behind the scenes of a restaurant, but that really kind of I feel like made people conscious of that your food can be fucked with.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, oh no.
I
Especially
know.
when you're like younger. It's like you see that and then you go, oh man, uh, and especially when you're in like a Denny's, you're like,
Oh
oh
God.
god, what's here?
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh yeah, Denny's.
Denny's
I
is
don't
rough.
I don't know if
We
they
don't
have
have a Denny's
those.
here. We
We
don't.
we we had a Denny's we used to always go to after work, because they were open 24 hours, and they had like a table for us, um, like the Blockbuster table. We kept it open for you
Oh,
guys. So that actually is a cool segue because it brings me to my next bullet point. So do any of the people that work together there hang out after work? Um,
well, that's funny because when I first started, I so my brother Jeremy and Alex both worked, like I said, there at pretty much the same time because they're only a year apart, and me to Alex, who's my middle brother, is 5 years difference. So
oh
there's
wow,
quite a gap. Yeah, there's quite a gap between us. Uh, but they're real close in age. So they went to school together and they hung out with the same friends and they worked at the same place together. So and that was around the same time corporate was like pretty much ending, but also they worked there during corporate. So they established pretty much the friend group at the time at the North Store and at the fellow other Blockbusters in Bend, which the North Store is now the only store, in the world. But that was the North Store at the time, and everybody there that hung out was all friends, and they hung out outside of work. And I hung out with them every once in a while, but I was really young. But when
right,
I
right.
started, yeah, when I started, I was 14, and I worked with a few, like Jeremy, my oldest brother, trained me. So he worked with a few of the people that were in that original friend group, but a lot of them were older and they moved on and they were in their like 30s and, they were getting older. So they wanted to get something more serious. And at the time, the corporate was ending. So it was becoming pretty much a dead end job. And,
Right.
um, I don't know. I pretty much hung out with some people back in the day, and then throughout the years, I've had different, fellow coworkers where I've hung out with them, but we don't all get together much. But me and my manager, Dan, we were like pretty much assistant managers together for the last like year or so. And I don't know. We hang out all the time. Like me and him are best buds. He's I don't know. He's the yin to my yang, as we say. But
That's
um,
awesome. So
yeah, no,
what
he's great.
not being from the area and knowing what's around, that you get kind of like the local haunts. Like these are, we had a ton of blockbusters around here, right? Because I live in an area that's pretty dense population wise. So,
Mhm.
we'd have blockbusters, 5 miles away from each other, right? But you know, we had, near us, like I said, there was a Denny's that we used to always go to. There was a local late run movie theater that would show movies after they were in the regular theaters. So
Mhm.
they'd be cheaper and they played them late. So this place had 1 a.m. showings. So we'd
Mhm.
get out of Blockbuster at midnight, 12:30, and all go to the movies, or at least, a few of us anyway. And
Yeah.
so is there like, what do you guys have around there? Like what's fun to do? Are there like, arcades or Dave and Buster's or anything like that? Or what's
Um,
fun to do in Bend?
Bend. That's funny because Bend really is like there is not a ton to do other than hiking and I don't know, sightseeing because that's what we've really got here. We've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, we've got beautiful views and I don't know, a lot of snowboarding and hiking and stuff. So during the nighttime, there's not a ton of stuff. Like downtown's got a few like nightclubs and I don't know, there's not a ton of arcade and stuff like that. Like there's a Sun Mountain Fun Center, but as far as that, there's no like water parks and cool stuff like that. It's really just outdoorsy stuff. That's why I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are so outdoorsy here. So um, as far as that goes, pretty much not a whole lot. It's pretty dry as far as the like entertaining yourself. But movies for sure. There's a movie theater. There's like Regal. There used to be another one too that was enormous, and it got no people that came to it. And then the one that was smaller got all the business. It made no sense. But
That's
the
interesting.
yeah, well, it was pretty much the location. One of them was placed pretty much dead center downtown, and then the other one was on the outskirts of like the south side of Bend. So yeah,
I get you. So what about
yeah.
you guys play a lot of video games or like Dungeons and Dragons, anything like that going on? Or Is that
I've
is that more, is that more my generation of nerds?
yeah, I play a lot of PS4.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I used to have an Xbox growing up and everything. I played pretty much everything from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 4 now. So growing up, my brother Alex, that's what he does with his life now. He is like insanely educated in that kind of stuff, and it's awesome because I mean, if you need to talk games or comics or just movies, anything like that, he is got it all. So it's been cool growing up, and Jeremy too. Like he played so many like games growing up too, so it's always been like an influence thing in my life, and I've always loved playing games. So yeah, no, I still play games all the time.
Oh, that's that. I got the same thing. I was a middle child, but me and my brother were very close in age. He's
Hmm.
only 3 years older than me. My sister didn't come along for another 6 years. So
Hmm.
all of my basically everything I do okay, came from the influence of my brother. He was a consumer of media. He's a movie critic. It's what he does for work, and he got me started doing these podcasts with him. So the Chipman Brothers Tangent that I do, if you ever listen to that, is me and my brother just kind of talking like you and I are talking right now. And
Very cool.
he it's the same thing, right? Like he got a Nintendo, so that's why I played Nintendo. He got a Super Nintendo. That's you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I got like the scraps of his, but we kind of consumed it together. And he's the more educated one in it. I couldn't even come close to him. But in my day job, I'm like the only movie guy, right? So everyone comes to me, oh, what do I got to go and see? And it's just like being at
Yeah.
Blockbuster again. It's like, oh man, they all want to know what I know. This is great.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
what this is kind of probably a silly lob ball question, but you talked about a lot of favorites on there. Do you have a favorite movie
Um, my favorite
or a
movie.
couple? I don't know.
Uh, yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, no, like I'm trying to mix up the genres here, and uh, I do have just a ton of favorite drama movies, but Super Bad is up there,
Oh yeah.
but yes, I like Step Brothers. That's another great comedy movie that I love. Other Guys is another good one, and then I like Training Day and uh, have you ever seen California?
California. Yeah, I really like California. And the funny thing is that director like came right off the bat with California, and then his movies got worse after that. Like he made Swordfish. It's like
Oh God,
that's and I know it's just not California.
no,
California was so good.
yeah, no, that's crazy. Honestly, like I can kind of feel that. Like there's some actors that do that come out with like a great, um, starting movie, and then they just kind of fall off pretty instantly. And
Right,
that
exactly.
that's, that movie is so good that it's just like that's hard to imagine. Like, but no, California is up there for sure. And then I really do like Fight Club because that's just a great psychological thriller.
Yeah,
Um,
that's one of my favorites. I absolutely love Fight Club.
yeah, no, that's right up there with my favorites. And then Alpha Dog.
Yep. So what about obviously, when you were younger, your parents came home or your mom came home with a lot of movies and stuff, but do you remember like one of the earliest movies you ever rented yourself? Like
Hmm.
either as an employee or as a customer?
Um, well, when I got my employee account, I'm trying to think like because I would watch mostly just like new releases to try to
Yep.
kind of help customers like
Oh
with
yeah, that's
recommendations.
that's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of stuff that was like really coming out like in 2014. That was stuff that I could really remember, but there was like a ton. Pretty much anything that came out in 2014, I was on it. But
Yep.
I remember like the first two that I was really like. had to see. Remember, I watched like Shutter Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like because I don't know, I like Leonardo DiCaprio a lot, and I remember I wanted to see Wolf of Wall Street because I hadn't seen that yet, and it was something that I remembered I'd always really wanted to see, but I couldn't just get an account and rent on, like I could rent it on my mom's account, but that was actually one that I do remember renting with one of my first rentals, and trying to think. I don't know. There's a ton of movies that I was just eager to see that I couldn't.
No, that's awesome. Have you gone back? How many times have you watched Shutter Island?
I've seen it probably like 3 or 4 times.
Did you? I absolutely loved it. And the second time through, did you notice all the intentional um mistakes there are in continuity to let you know that he's just freaking nuts?
Yeah.
Like
No, like now that
he'll be
like when I
drinking a
watch it
glass of
now,
water, and then they'll cut the camera to a different angle, and they'll lift his hand up to take a sip, and there's no glass in his hand. You're just like, what? That movie was amazing. I loved that movie.
I didn't catch that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, check it
That's
out
pretty
again.
cool.
Like it is the second time through. I go, he doesn't have a glass in his hand.
That's
Like,
cool.
and in the angle, it's when either I think it's the first time he's being interviewed by Mark Ruffalo, and they're asking
Yeah.
him about the disappearance of the girl, and the camera keeps cutting to them both sitting facing each other, and
Hmm.
every time it cuts back to DiCaprio, there's something different. Like they change something, like just to
Huh.
like mess with you. It's like what?
Yeah.
And, and at first I saw it and was like, oh man, they made a mistake, and then I'm like, oh no, this is intentional.
Yeah. That's
I,
so funny. That's
that's
that's really cool. Like
that's the kind of stuff I love.
those, that's the kind of stuff I love too. Like when you get to like see those little things and you're like, oh, like that's why I like horror movies so much. Because like I don't know, like I love Paranormal Activity, like the first one,
Me
and
too.
like
The
I like
first
the
one actually
second one
freaked me
too.
out.
Yeah, like I like seeing little things like you're like not supposed to see them, but like I don't know, you're supposed to really, but just little tiny things that it like move and you're like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And it just keeps you active in the film. So those are the kind of
Right.
things like. But back to Shutter Island, yeah, no, like Ben Kingsley's role in that is great, and that actually reminds me because one first few movies that I rented was Suspect Zero
Yep.
because my mom was like telling me like there's a few movies that I really need to see because I was getting into like dramas and stuff. So Suspect Zero and then Taking Lives was another one
Yep.
that I remember renting. Those two both were super good drama movies that I remember really liking, but it was something I rented early on.
Cool, man. So what else? You've been there for a bit. Do you have a favorite customer? Like someone
Oh,
that's in all the
yeah.
time that you just like know by name and
Yeah, there's a few different ones. I don't know. Recently, there's this lady that comes in. Her name is Jeanne, and she's real nice. She's a sweetheart, but she comes in and she pretty much has like I'd say not like I don't know exactly my favorite movies, but it's pretty close. Like she knows exactly what movies I love because we have pretty much the same picks and the exact same favorite like actors and everything. So it's really cool and really easy to recommend her movies and vice versa. And then um, there's a few customers that are like super cool, even I don't know, just to talk to, not even about movies per se, but um, I don't know. There's an older gentleman that comes in. His name is Randall, and I don't know. We've pretty much like we've talked about hanging out a lot outside of work and everything, and going like fishing and stuff. Because he's like I don't know, he's super cool, and we always talk about stuff we have in common, and he's really nice. And then someone that actually doesn't come in anymore, which I wish he did, is this guy that used to come in and he would his name was Thomas, but he referred to himself as Rabbit because he actually had a radio talk show, and it was called Rabbit Radio. And it doesn't, I don't know if it still goes anymore, but I haven't seen him in forever. But he called himself Rabbit. So I don't know. He was really unique, and he was really funny. And I don't know, when he came in, he was just a character, and yeah, he was a cool guy.
That's
Rabbit.
awesome. Yeah, it's always that's I think big thing that I miss in what I do now. I'm an engineer. I love being an engineer. I mean, it's a big adult job, whatever. But there's something about that, being able to help people, even if it's just as silly as recommending a movie to them. Because seeing someone leave happy, or come back and tell you that they enjoyed something, there's just something about that that's missing in what I do now. And I always think back on those frequent customers you had that would come in on Tuesday morning because they knew the new movies were coming out, and they'd come in and they'd spend the whole morning walking along the wall. They'd say something like, "Oh man, wow, when I was in here yesterday, there was a whole bunch of other stuff there. How'd you ever make all that space for, whatever movie it was, and they were just very invested in what we were doing and didn't take it for granted,
Yeah. Well, that's what it used to be, more of like this, but I mean, pretty much everybody that used to come in, and now we just get a lot of tourists and people just coming in to buy merchandise, and but it used to be, and it still is, a lot of this, but it's like everybody that comes in, is going to be in a week from tomorrow to return their movie, and they're going to probably rent more movies. So pretty much everybody you talk to, you're going to be able to talk to again. So it gives you like a reason to kind of build a relationship with them and kind of get to know them, because you're going to be getting to know them and seeing them quite often. So I don't know, that kind of urges you to be nice to people also,
right?
Because they're going to come back. So I don't know, that's never really a problem. Yeah.
That's it. It's just a different thing, and I'm actually jealous you still get to do it. Like I told your mom, if I ever get out there, because I think my company is going to have something out your way soon, and I'd like to hitch a ride with them out there and just come in and hang out for like an afternoon and just put movies away. I don't care. It would just give me the most joy, and I don't know why.
Side job with us. Come on, come
get a one day side job. I bought a $300 plane ticket to go work at a Blockbuster for free.
That's right.
So speaking of traveling a far distance, tell me about this whole scenario of you going to the UK.
Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, just recently that happened, but yeah, I got to go to London because Blockbuster was gonna have it's this radio company called Absolute Radio, but we were basically gonna go and hand deliver a rental copy, just like if they were going to rent a copy of Point Break, and they wanted to watch it at the Warner Brothers screening room in London. So basically I got to go to London, be on the talk show, and watch this movie with some really cool guys that work at Absolute Radio. And yeah, it was like a short trip, unfortunately, but it was a 5-day trip. Pretty much 2 or 3 of the days were just straight flying. So I've only got to really hang out for 2 days. Yeah, it's crazy. It was long, but it was way worth it. I would have hopped right back on a plane straight back if I could have. But no, it was really cool because being on the actual radio show, it was nothing like I've ever experienced. Like, I've done a ton of these news interviews and stuff, and it's always an experience, and it's super cool. But being in like a whole, interview room and everything. It was super neat. So being able to just do that for pretty much a week, and then being able to go to the Warner Brothers place, like that was a whole different experience. And then seeing London, I mean, London is a crazy town. Or city, I should say. It's way too much to experience in 2 days, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I only got to spend the day there, so man, you got more on me.
I feel I took advantage of it. I pretty much walked like, I don't know, 30 miles or so,
Yep.
just in a few days I had, just to see.
Did you go to King's Cross, the train station, and see the Harry Potter thing they have there?
Yeah, no, that
was so cool.
I know, dude, it's insane. They have a few different things, like right in pretty much, because where the interview was taking place was in Soho, so they have like a different Harry Potter thing there in Soho. But I saw a few different Harry Potter themed things.
Yeah, I love London. It's cool. I don't know how, when the area you're in was settled, in Bend out there, but and we have, all this Boston history, right? It's the oldest, settlement in the nation, and so,
Yeah.
but think about this stuff, even like the pre-Revolutionary War stuff, the history kind of goes back to the early 1600s, and then it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
So to find like a building that was built in 1610 around here is an old thing.
Yeah.
And Oxford University in London has been around since before the Aztec Empire.
I know, exactly. You're like walking around and you're just like, does that really say BC? And
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah. You're like,
I went to a town called Chester that's north of London, up in the Manchester area. That's an old, like, walled, barricaded city. So, like, it looks like something out of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
From the outside, but then when you go in, there's like a Burger King, and it's so weird.
I know that's something I noticed too. I was like, you'll be like right next to the Parliament, and like you'll look to the right and there's just McDonald's, and you're like, what? It's like built literally next door to these insanely ancient buildings.
Yeah, London blew my mind. So that was the Dave Berry breakfast show you went on?
Yeah, that was cool. Shouts out to those guys for sure. Those guys were real cool.
I've been watching the things that they were posting about you being there, and it seems like you guys had a blast.
Yeah, it was super cool.
And they're a funny group of guys, and they seem to have a good time. Helping and talking about you. Making your way to England and finding your way around. So did you have were you kind of on your own, or did you have a contact there that kind of helped you find your way around? You say you like to travel, so I don't know if
yeah,
but
when I initially got there, someone was at the airport to pick me up, so I got to the hotel with somebody else, and then getting to and from the hotel to the station, somebody was there with me, but other than that, I was on my own. So I pretty much I was walking around, and I had the hotel room, which I stayed at the Park Plaza, which is like, it's right on the London Bridge, and that was insane. And I got like a super high balcony, and I could just see out, and it was a crazy experience. But anyways, I got to walk around.
All because you work at a Blockbuster.
Exactly, I know, right? Like it all pays off so much, and even more, because I don't know, even before I got that trip, I was thinking, it's an insane experience, even just to say I worked there. Like it's gonna be the craziest thing I could ever write down on my resume. So I don't know, to be able to do that, it was really neat. And then the experiences I had, like I spent most of the time going around because I was really thinking it would just be such an insane thing to like, I don't know, I took like 2,500 pictures on my camera.
Yep.
And like 200 of them were for Blockbuster. So I was going around just sticker slapping all kinds of things and just placing my hat and different pieces of merchandise, on objects and taking pictures with it and stuff. And I wasn't doing anything, illegal. I don't know, trying to do any like vandalizing or anything, but I don't know. I was having fun with it and taking tons of pictures for Blockbuster. So I got some pretty cool pictures, and I don't know. I was super excited with it. But one of the times I was placing a sticker, and I thought some cops were gonna arrest me for doing it, and I was like, "What the heck?" But they came up and they were actually fans, and they wanted to, take a picture with the Blockbuster sticker because they knew what it was about, and they knew that it was the last Blockbuster. So that was super funny and super cool.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some of them right now.
Yeah, yeah,
The two guys,
they're cool
the two
pictures.
guys pointing at the sticker on the little what is that, like a, I don't even know what that is, like a bumper or something on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, it's like a divider for people to walk through.
Yep, I see that. That's awesome. Hey, this is
Yeah,
the part of the podcast where we talk about things people can't see in an audio podcast.
right.
Go to the Blockbuster Ben Instagram and see all these cool pictures Ryan's talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, this is
they're real.
nuts.
It was a cool experience.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, having been there, I like being able to talk to you about there because you had the same experience as me. I went to London with work. I only got to spend a day there, and it was so overwhelming and so cool to be somewhere so big and so old.
Mhm.
Like, and it is just really interesting. And like you said, you get to go there because of Blockbuster, and that's nuts.
I know.
So
Right.
taking us back, to the United States. So like I've no, like I've told you and told your mom, I'm and I'm not ending this yet. I'm segueing into the next thing. I'm honored that you guys are giving me time because I know you're really busy, right? You've got to run a store, you've got to deal with all the tourists and the people breaking down your door that want to see you guys now, and you have to deal
Mhm.
with legitimate news people. So giving a little guy like me time to kind of ride along with you on this, it makes me really happy. Um,
Well, I
it's
mean, it's an honor because I mean, you're really passionate about it, and I don't know, it's cool to talk to people that are, big fans, and you're a nice guy,
yeah.
so
Oh, dude, I appreciate it. And so I was going to say, I want to try to be a portal for. Hopefully, this helps get you guys, some advertisement for the merch. Like you're trying to do with the Instagram. Hopefully, it gets me some more people following me. But with that, since I talked to your mom, which was about a month ago, what do you guys got going on at the store, outside of normal things? Is there anything cool coming up that you want to tell people about, or is there, even if it's a local thing to Bend, right? Like, oh, we're doing a free rental night, or whatever it is. What's happening with you guys?
right now, I mean, we got some new stuff coming up with like, we got like the monthly Ben comedy thing is actually happening tomorrow night, so
Oh,
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Are you
And
guys
then
are you guys filming that by any chance?
Um, I don't think we will be tonight. We do film it usually. They film it, but if you wanted to see it, it's on bencomedy.com.
Well, there you
They
go. I'll definitely be checking that out. And they
yeah,
do it in the store.
yeah, they do like a live feed, I think, of the whole thing. So, and then they have pretty much the whole comedy section to themselves. So, yeah, they set up a whole thing. It's pretty cool, but it's like one of the only like stand-up comedy shows you'll see with the lights on. So,
Yep.
it's pretty funny. And then there's like people renting in the back because it actually is during the store hours. So, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome. That's something, if I ever do come out there, even if I do like 10 minutes, I'd like to do an episode of this in the store. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be like unique. So, and then the following night, there's the same group. Ben Comedy does like a It's like a movie trivia type night, so that's fun.
And they do it in the store?
Yeah, everybody gets, it's like a free to enter, and then you get to win prizes too, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then our local mountain that everybody goes to ski and snowboard is doing like a like camp out / movie night for anybody to come and like go and stay the night basically in the main lodge they have there, and then they get a huge projector and they're going to have a few movies that we're going to loan to them to show at the thing, and it's going to be like our donation basically to them, and it's going to be like a Blockbuster / Mount Bachelor movie night type thing, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know, and I told your mom that's kind of what I wanted to do this. Every month or so, to have you or your mom or someone else from the store back on and kind of keep talking about the store and give you guys a chance to talk about how you're doing, to let the world know, hey, we're still doing really well and we're doing all this cool stuff. And however long you're around, I hope to still be able to have you guys on. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm
no, I want to be on this thing for more than
cool.
just this.
So here's a
Yeah.
dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have you ever watched a movie on VHS, Ryan?
I have, yeah. That's
I
not a
just
dumb
don't I
question.
just don't know anymore.
No,
I,
no,
I,
I feel you. I feel you.
that's cool. What about
I
Laserdisc?
I have never seen a laser disc. That's something I want to do. I want to see that and what's that other the one before VHS with the B?
Betamax? Betamax?
Yeah, Beta.
Betamax
Yeah.
is terrible. You should try to find it. My parents, it was really funny. We were away on vacation and someone broke into our house when we came back, and obviously my parents were devastated, and they go, "Away there, kids, we're gonna call the police." And they go in the house and they took nothing but our Betamax player.
Oh
And my
my
dad was
God.
like, so nothing was lost. I always thought that
That's
was really funny because
that's like that's such a good story, dude. That's crazy. He's like,
um
yeah, they did us a
I was thinking about upgrading that damn thing anyway, whatever. It's funny though that they stole nothing else. It is really weird.
yeah,
Um, but so the cool thing about Laserdisc, it's funny how technology works, right? Like Laserdisc was ahead of its time, and everything when you could get on DVDs, when DVDs first came out, if it was a movie that had existed when Laserdisc was around, they were literally just putting the Laserdisc onto a DVD, because laser discs would have things like audio commentaries and special features and behind the scenes, and VHS tapes didn't have that stuff. So it was like
yeah,
it went backwards, you
yeah,
know, to the format that everybody loved before they could catch up. Because the thing with laser discs is they were
yeah.
the size of records, so they were really easy to
No,
scratch and break. So that they were
yeah,
it wasn't going to work out. you know,
no,
but I know a lot
yeah,
of people had them, swore by them, you know.
mhm.
So that's kind of wild. Um, so let's see.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
fun.
so here's a cool thing. So you were talking about your videography and your photos and stuff, and I watched the music video you did that your mom shared.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and so tell me a little bit about that. Is that were those people you knew, like your friends, or is that just like a freelance gig you got? And like give me a little bit of info on that.
So yeah, I know. I'm really happy you actually asked about that. Because yeah, that's something that I love doing. I actually that particular video. So I've done I think 4 videos with those guys, and those are my 2 best friends. But I started out doing this because we all started out with like a group of guys, and we were doing like one guy doing music videos, one guy produces the music, the other guy like gets shows and everything, and it was like a gig, like a band basically. So that's what started me with the whole video side of this, and after that, I just picked up and ran with it. So I've done plenty of stuff with other guys like that have hired me to do. I've done videos for like a Bend Heating and Cooling place. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I did like a little video for them for their store, and then like a video for one of their parties they did. They hired me to do videos for like a white trash party they did. It was kind of funny. Um, yeah, they like all dressed up, all funny and stuff, and they had a whole big party with like like a gravy fountain machine. It was crazy, but um, yeah, like I've done some cool stuff. Like I got to travel to Hawaii because of it. I got to do a music video for someone in Hawaii that I haven't yet put out yet. That one's going to be released here pretty soon. So that was really cool. I got a paid trip to Hawaii, and
Wow.
I didn't. Yeah, I paid a dime like pretty much the whole time that I was there, and then I've done plenty of videos in Arizona. Like I've had a couple of people fly me out to Arizona and do some videos for them, and I'm doing something in San Diego for like a wedding. It's like a wedding shoot slash rehearsal and video, and then that's in like a month from now. So I'm getting a paid trip to San Diego here pretty soon, and then
Nice.
yeah, no, that's what I love about it the most is it like because I love to travel so much and take pictures when I travel, and then the video aspect of it is just so much more technical, which I love, and it has so much more to offer, and then you get to travel so much with it, and it gets to take you places to film people and music videos because I love hip hop music, and music videos are huge right now, so
Yeah,
to
that
be able
was
to
that was a
make
very
something.
well done one. I mean, both from the song. I mean, if that's your friends doing all the recording and everything. The song was good. The mix for the video, that's hard to do. I've done that before, so it
I
was
appreciate
very
that a
well
lot.
done.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, no, that's something that I worked on it for like a month, I think. But yeah, no, I have stuff that I'm like that video I'm really proud of, but more stuff that I'm like really, really excited to release because I don't know, I work pretty hard on the music videos and stuff, and they're super hard to make, but it's so much fun that it doesn't even seem like work at all. It's
Right.
it's pure just like fun.
So, do you these other gigs that you've been traveling around for? Is it people that you know that spread the word, or did they find you through your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's mostly word of mouth. Like I haven't really had like well actually one person has found me through Instagram, and I've been working with him, and he lives in Florida, and he is going to have me go do some videos in Florida here pretty soon. So that guy found me through Instagram and all that stuff. So that worked out pretty well. And then most of the other stuff is just word of mouth.
Cool, that's awesome. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
you're another side of something I'm passionate about. So because I now in where I am, I do a lot of weddings. That's kind of what I end up doing, and I like doing that actually. I like seeing the look on people's faces when they go, hey, I wasn't thinking of doing this. And the big companies that do, photos for weddings charge so much. So it's like I tell them, you pay me what you think I deserve, because it's usually someone I know. Right. So after
yeah,
you see it, just pay me what you think I deserve, whatever. And they go, I never thought uh, I only thought about, the photos. I never thought about how important it was to have video, but you don't know how much longer you're going to have a grandparent around, and having
yeah,
that
yeah,
footage of, people love it. And I, I,
yeah,
I, I enjoy being able to do that for people. I think, and it come my dad filmed everything. I have, 18 years of every birthday and Christmas, whatever, just videos. And my mom got it all digitized. So I find that stuff very important.
yeah.
Um, and
It's
now we
like,
have such better access to it now,
yeah,
you know?
it's such an important part of, I mean, it being able to experience life without it. Like I as of now, because I run the Instagram for Blockbuster and stuff, I'm a lot more active on my phone. But before, like a month or two from now, I had like, I don't know, 30 minutes screen time on my phone a week because I love just experiencing life just as it is without being sucked into recording everything. And I don't know, when I went into like Hawaii and stuff, like that's what I did the whole time. I took videos the whole time, and it really kind of, sometimes it sucks being able to have like a camera in front of you the whole time, but honestly, like, I don't know, being able to do it both is so awesome, and it's such an important part of life, being able to like record it and keep it. And being humans, like, we're so, advanced technologically and stuff, but that's such a great aspect of it, like being able to record everything and have it. And
Oh
like
yeah.
like it's so easy now. But
Well, and even before it was easy, me and my friends made a zombie movie in 2004, right?
yeah.
And we spent the whole summer doing it. We got together every Wednesday. It was a pretty big production. We spent the whole day. Everyone took it off from work, and so for a whole summer, we just recorded every Wednesday. And at the time, you didn't think much of it, but one of the people that was just a friend of the person doing our makeup effects filmed everything we were doing. We didn't know. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not like we didn't want him to, but like, oh yeah, this guy's filming it. And at the end of it, he gave me all the footage. And so we have, you know, hours and hours and hours of behind the scene footage of, a year from then, does it really matter? No, that was just last summer, whatever, I remember it.
Yeah.
But looking on it now, it's like I like it more than the movie. And I love the movie, but I like looking back at, oh man, look at, he's watching us film the scene, and he filmed all the takes we had to do to get this done. And it's such a, I cherish that, and the fact that we can record everything now, you don't cherish it as much. But when
Yeah.
you really get that really great memory for somebody, it's kind of the
No,
same.
I agree.
It's kind of the same thing as, these silly video stores, right? It's that memory, that's something you can hold on to.
No, I
Um,
agree.
so
That's still
yeah,
reminds me a lot
so
of Super 8.
yeah, exactly. No, dude, when I saw the movie they ended up making at the end of Super 8, I was like, it's like our movie. This is awesome. I love Super 8. Super
Yeah.
8's a lot of fun.
J.J.
Uh,
Abrams and Steven Spielberg, man, they're great.
can't beat it. And in fact, yeah. Oh man, I would love to meet Steven Spielberg. That's a different podcast. I actually have one coming out. I'll do a plug for it. I was on a show with these guys who call themselves the Geeks with Shields podcast, and they've become constant collaborators. We kind of go back and forth with each other now, and you'd have a blast talking to them. They're a lot of fun, and we were having a Twitter conversation one day about Steven Spielberg movies and how our tastes in which ones we liked were so different. And so he said, "Oh man, we got to do an episode of a podcast. We'll call it the Spielberg Smackdown." And we just recorded it, and it went on for so long. I think we went on for 2 hours and only got it down to like 6 movies. And the idea is to end up with one. Like if,
Mhm.
if Spielberg only had one movie that ever existed, what would it be? And so we're going to record more to get it down to one. It was so much fun because we were trash talking and going back and forth, and it was just a blast. And you just, sorry for the segue there, but you made me think
No,
about it.
dude,
So,
that's so awesome. Steven
so
Spielberg is definitely one of my favorite
oh
directors.
yeah, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what else he's got coming, because apparently they're doing another Indiana Jones. It makes me happy but scared all at the same time. But
No,
yeah. Uh, so before because it's been over an hour and this has been awesome, but I'll do my little wrap up thing that I do that I think is a lot of fun and you'll enjoy it. But do you have anything else you want to share before I do that? Like anything that you want to tell people about? You have a forum to talk to people. So,
yeah.
what else is going
Um,
on?
well, well, I haven't actually had a opportunity to really thank everybody that, you know, works with me and has been able to, because, like with this videography thing, um, Blockbuster is so amazing because I'm able to take time off to go off and film for, a week at a time in these really exotic places. And it's because I have like my mom and Dan and just the rest of everybody on the staff that is so like amazing to me and is able to really like help out and cover my shifts and be so accepting of it. So I haven't really had an opportunity to really thank everybody enough because I don't know, it's really just made it all work out, made the experience that much better. So it's really just like a huge, I don't know, thank you to them. And also like being able to be on talk shows like this and be able to really get my voice even heard, like that's incredible also. So I want to thank you a lot for being able to have me on this show, and a huge thanks to everybody, that's listening and everybody that has had me on shows before. So it's all such a great experience. So just a big thank you.
That's awesome, dude. Class act right there. That's cool. Yeah, dude, it's wild to put these things up there and think, um, I was looking at my download feed the other day and I have 65,000 downloads for the 2 years I've been doing this. And it's like, that's 65,000 people that are hearing me talk.
Mhm.
Weird.
It's incredible.
I didn't really think of that, right? And now it's out there forever, right? It's not like, I was on the nightly news tonight,
Yeah.
for like your 10 minutes of fame and then it's gone. It's like, no, that people are going to be able to search this forever. That's weird.
No,
But
it's
no,
so
dude,
cool,
I,
man.
I think that's awesome. I think it at whatever age, at 35, at 18, the fact that you're getting to go along on this journey, and like you said, that they're also giving you the ability to chase your passions, right? That how what more could you want from a I'll quote say a first job, but what more could you want from your current job, right? For it to be something you enjoy so much,
Yeah,
to
there's
be
nothing better.
to be such an important thing currently in like the culture of the world, right?
Hmm.
It's the last thing, that's dude. Hell, Blockbuster was in Captain Marvel, right? How
I
cool is that?
know, for real. That's funny because like when that trailer came out, there was a spike in business. Like I swear, it's so
Of course,
funny. Like
of
people were
course.
like, Blockbuster? Yeah, it just everything, that's
When that
it's
when that
crazy.
when that trailer came out, my Twitter went nuts. Like the night, Chris, have you seen the trailer? That thing you talk about all the time is in a movie. I'm just like, oh my god.
That's so
Also, the Blockbuster hoodie, the hooded sweatshirt I got from you guys, I
funny.
wore it to PAX East, and every 3 feet, oh man, that sweatshirt's awesome. You'd either get a wow, is that from the last Blockbuster, or wow, where'd you get that sweatshirt from? They haven't been around for 10 years.
Yeah, it's so
Just the way it
funny.
was a good conversation starter, right?
Yeah. That's exactly how it was in London too.
That's awesome.
People. I mean, not everybody, because like everybody's go 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 in London, so not everybody would stop you and ask you. But I could just hear pretty much everybody I'd walk past just say something like, I would just hear Blockbuster, and I'd just be like, yep, yep, yep,
Nice.
yeah,
That's so cool. So here we get to I do this kind of silly thing at the end of the show, where I usually say we're gonna pretend we're in a Blockbuster. We don't have to pretend because you work in one. So you're at you're at Blockbuster Bend, and I'm there somehow, even though I live 1,000 miles away, whatever. And I've walked up and I'm renting a movie. So I've decided I'm gonna rent A Cure for Wellness. Have you ever heard of A Cure for Wellness?
yeah. I've seen it.
Oh, you seen it? Okay, that movie's bonkers. That's why I always like to bring it up just to see if anyone's seen it, because if you haven't seen it, that's one hell of a trip of a movie. It kind of reminds me of Shutter
Yes,
Island,
it is.
which is where
Yeah, it is.
I'm a customer. I came up with A Cure for Wellness, and I have a free favorite rental to go along with it or whatever. So what are you going to recommend I rent with it?
Hmm. Well, since how you are clearly in the mood for a drama fantasy movie, um, Let's see. Actually, no. I'm gonna get you something dark. Have you seen Mean Creek?
Oh, Jesus. Yes, but I'll watch it again. What a double feature that would be. Whoa, dude. You don't screw around. Now, would you ever actually recommend Mean Creek to someone in your store? I'd like to be there to see it.
I feel like I have recommended that to a few people.
It's a great movie,
I've
but
been
it
like,
is not.
yeah, no, just be like, so I see you're renting the Drake and Josh movie. Would you like to see Josh in Mean Creek? That's exactly how it goes. It's exactly how it
terrible. That's terrible.
is.
Oh man. All right, so now what are you gonna rent? You're gonna come up with something, and we'll reverse the roles, and I'm gonna be the employee. Let's see if I can try to do this.
Tonight I'm walking up with 310 to Yuma.
Oh man. Oh, I love that movie. That. So did you know that's the guy that made Logan?
Yeah, no, that's funny because Logan is such a great movie.
Oh, I love Logan.
Me as well.
So, and I'm not recommending Logan, even though that would have been a good segue. You're gonna come up with 310 to Yuma, then I'm gonna recommend. I'm forgetting the name of the movie right now, man.
Who's in it?
Oh no. So I was gonna say I could recommend the remake of True Grit by the Coen brothers because that's the first thing that popped into my mind and I loved it. But 310 to Yuma is a bit more on it's approaching dark territory, even though it's still a Western. So I'm forgetting the name, but Sam Raimi made a Western with Leonardo DiCaprio and Gene Hackman. And it was awesome. And I can't remember the name of it right now. And I'm gonna look it up while we're talking.
I can't think of any Western with Leonardo than it. That's not Django.
Have you not seen this? Oh man, so you have to see this movie if you haven't seen it.
Is it not Django?
It's The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen this?
No.
So this movie has one of the biggest visual cool things they do that would never actually happen in real life. Actually, it probably could because the bullet might cauterize the wound. But someone gets shot in a standoff and the camera tilts across them and a beam of sunlight pierces through the gunshot. And it's like sick. The coolest damn shot. I love this movie. So this cast, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobin Bell, Jigsaw, Lance Hendrickson, Gary Sinise. This movie's awesome. And if you're going to pretend to Yuma, you got to watch The Quick and the Dead.
No, I'm gonna watch that. I am into some Westerns. Like you said, mostly like drama.
You'd love The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah. Nah, that sounds good. I mean, that's a good recommendation.
And if you, for some reason, don't have that to rent, maybe Tombstone.
Tombstone is a great movie. My dad loves that. He has so many plaques of it.
Tell him I'm coming and hell's coming with me.
Perfect.
That's an awesome movie. So, yes, that's just a funny little thing. It's more fun. Actually, no, it was actually a lot of fun to do it with you, but I like stumping the people that haven't worked there in a while going, okay, are you rusty or can you still do this? Because our thing was I don't know, you guys don't have the old white slip sleeves anymore, right? You just have the actual movie cover.
Yeah.
So on the old white slip sleeves, corporate used to recommend movies.
Very cool.
You should recommend, so we'd read it off the back. And it's like, I'm not doing that because it's just telling them, if you like, American Beauty, you'd also like Michael Bay's Transformers films. It's like, what the hell is wrong? Like, like what are you guys trying to do to me right now?
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's just nuts.
that's insane.
So, before fully ending this, what since I have no idea what's going on in the video rental industry anymore, aside from going over to a red box. Yeah. Anyway, what's the newest titles you guys have out?
This week we got a few great movies actually. We got The Mule, Clint Eastwood directed and written by. Then we also got Bumblebee, which I didn't actually get to see outside of the store. I'm looking forward to seeing that when the rental period is not new release.
I haven't seen it yet, but have you ever seen any of the Leica movies, like Paranorman or Coraline or Box Troll? So the guy, the one of the heads of Leica who directed Kubo and the Two Strings, directed Bumblebee.
Oh, nice.
It was like a contract job. Like, you have to make this, and apparently he did a great job. Like that's all anyone keeps saying. So.
Yeah, no, I heard it's really, really good.
So what else? What else you got?
Then we also got The Man Who Killed Bigfoot The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot.
That actually just got recommended to me by somebody. Yeah. I gotta check that out.
It's really good. I don't want to ruin anything. It's good all the way through to the end, and honestly, I don't know. It's a really out there movie for sure. But Sam Elliott he kills it in every role. So I don't know. He's good in everything. But then also we got Rust Creek, which was the other one that we got. And that's all the new releases, or the big ones at least.
And so, for example, Bumblebee, how many copies of it do you have to rent, roughly?
I think we got like 60.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Not that many, honestly, for a big movie. I don't know. We may have gotten more, maybe more like 70, but for like one that we just got, like Aquaman last week, I think we got like 90 copies or something like that.
Now, do you get enough people in to sell out of Aquaman?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Oh yeah. No, dude, there'd be like today, for instance, like The Mule, The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then Bigfoot and Bumblebee were all gone off the shelves, and people had pretty much every other customer was coming up asking us to check the Dropbox for, if one come in, and that's almost, every week really. There's going to be one. It depends on what's coming out too, because if nothing good is really like coming out, then people won't raid the shelves for them. But if it's a good release, then people are going to be like hovering the Dropbox for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, your mom said you guys were still busy, but I don't, in my mind, I wasn't picturing 90 copies of a movie busy. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and we get more sometimes. Like if it's like when Avengers Endgame comes out, we're gonna probably get close to, I'd say 100, maybe even 150 like copies of that.
You're just gonna have,
and it'll be gone.
Set of shelves just for Endgame.
Yeah, like 2. Like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and then they're gonna be gone like completely. Like Infinity War is one that still like will get close to checked out, and it's been a full year, so it's
That's awesome. I just got my Endgame tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it crashed the internet. So they went on sale at 9 a.m. and I logged in and I got put in a queue. So it's like, you have over an hour wait. I'm like, I'll just let this run while I'm working. And then I'm like, you know what? What the hell is wrong with me? I'm on the internet. I here I am talking up, the way the world used to be, where, you deal with people face to face. And here I am doing it on the internet. So my wife was at a place near the mall where the AMC theater is. And I called her up and I said, why am I buying these tickets online? Could you just go in the theater? She goes, oh, yeah. And went right in. There was nobody there. And just walked right up and bought tickets.
Yeah, that's insane. People are reselling their tickets right now online.
Someone had
crazy.
night tickets on sale for 10 grand.
I know.
I get it's a big deal. I mean, I really want to see it.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I'll see it before it comes out because my brother has a tendency to get me into screenings of stuff like that, which is always fun.
That's insane. Yeah, that's so cool.
But yeah, dude, I've kept you for a long time, and it's after 1 a.m. for me. So, like I said, I gave you a chance to plug anything else you wanted to plug, and dude, thank you. I mean, the honor is all mine having you on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because
I appreciate it.
I know there's a lot of people asking you guys for your time, and all I can tell them is that you can get an hour and a half of me talking to you guys instead of the 5 or 10 minutes they get off of uh, CNN or
Yeah.
anywhere else. I got a one up on them in one way. That's about
Yeah,
it.
that's very true. No, and
But
like
what was that?
I was gonna say we don't get to talk to those guys like we get to talk to you too. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like reminiscing with people that are currently living this. So, again, I'm definitely gonna have you back on. And yeah. So I'll take us out here. So that was Ryan Harding from the last blockbuster on the planet. Congratulations, Ryan, for you guys actually achieving that. Right, it's official now. The
Mm-hmm.
Australia finally closed.
Yep. Yeah, that was
That's awesome.
last week. They gave me a phone call actually, and yeah,
Oh, that's so cool. So,
yeah.
now I get to the point where I like to talk about other, shows that I've been affiliated with. So, and Ryan, you can check these guys out too if you want, but everybody listening, if you enjoy me, if you enjoy this show, oh, Ryan, make sure you check out Ryan's Instagram and YouTube. Tell them what those are.
Oh yeah. You can find me at. It's pretty simple. It's Paulo does not follow, and there's no caps, no spaces, and that's for the Instagram and the YouTube.
Awesome. And there's great stuff on the YouTube. I've already checked out a little of it. So that's
Thank
something
you.
you guys should be checking out.
Appreciate.
You should check. Yeah, of course, dude. It's good. You should check out the Geeks with Shields podcast. Who also do Geeks Who Haunt, which is a horror themed version of their podcast. I've been on an episode of the horror themed one that is coming out very soon. It's already available to patrons. So if you want to go and give them some patronage, $1 gets you early access to an episode with me. So go check them out. I've also been on the Pumpkin Copter cast with my friend Tyler. That's T Gorman83 on Twitter. He runs his show on YouTube. It's a video game themed podcast. You should also check out the Big Brown Chair. It's a movie review website run by librarians. One of them is my friend Peter from college. I've also written a review for them and hope to write some reviews in the future as well. Um, I, on this episode in particular, strongly recommend you check out Matt Crowley. That's at Matt J. Crowley on Twitter. He does a show called So Much for Pathos under the YouTube channel of The House That Jack Built. He's currently running a GoFundMe because his solitary Apple laptop that he's been using to do all of his shows is starting to die, and he's afraid he's not going to be able to bring you shows anymore. So he has a GoFundMe running to help replace his laptop. I've contributed to it, and you should too. Also, this could be just as much of news to Ryan as everybody else. If you've never heard of Scarecrow Video, they're a large video store in Seattle, Washington. I've just recently been appointed towards them. I'm going to have one of the guys from their place on the show at some point soon. But they are now the National Archive for Physical Media. So they have 130,000 plus VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu-ray titles that are under, tight control. And you can go there as a video store and become a member and rent. They do a lot of community events. They host a lot of, like kids' nights to screen movies at the store. I believe they stream a lot of what they have to people who aren't local. So it's a cool place. You should check them out, especially if you're a fan of Blockbuster. I can be found at patreon.com/thechippa. I'm also on Stitcher now, which is a new thing. The site that I use to put my podcasts up puts me in a bunch of places. but they weren't on Stitcher, and I guess a lot of people like Stitcher. So I had to click a button and go through a waiting process because I guess Stitcher likes to screen their people, and they approved my show, so it's on Stitcher now. I run the Chipman Brothers Tangent with my brother Movie Bob. I run Creating Geeks podcast, which is a parenting podcast about sharing geeky things from your childhood. I do that with my wife. I run Shooting the Shit with Chippa, which is very similar to this, but about random topics and not so focused like the Talkbuster podcast is. And I also run the Talkbuster podcast, which you're listening to now. If you're wondering about all the stuff that Ryan was talking about, they have for sale, you can check out his Instagram. That's the Blockbuster Bend Instagram. You can also check out my special edition episode 2, which is an unboxing video for all of the cool stuff that I bought from Blockbuster Bend. And if you're going to buy some of that stuff, Sandy and Ryan have set up a Gmail account, blockbusterbend@gmail.com. Please submit all your requests there. Don't call the store. They're an operating store. Store phone calls should be for store business. Use the email account to set up all transactions to buy this stuff. And also, once my Patreon hits $300 a month, I'm giving away 20 Blockbuster Bend stickers to my random patrons. So get up all on that. And so with that, thank you, Ryan, for being here. If you're still there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry. No, thank you so much. That was a very, very generous and very well done outro. So thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself. And if you will, I would like you to send me a link to all of those, talk shows that you had mentioned. And I would like to say also to the listeners that I had watched the unboxing video myself, and I think it is definitely worth a watch. So definitely head over there and watch that. And then also we are doing a giveaway on the Blockbuster Instagram. Once we hit 10,000 followers, it's quite a bit, so we might lower that actually. I'm thinking about it, but we're going to be doing a giveaway for $80 worth of store merch. So we will be choosing that, but it'll include everything you can see pretty much on there. Basically, it's a summer giveaway, so we're going to have sunglasses coming out too soon. A little bit of a snippet announcement for that. So Blockbuster sunglasses, hoodie, or not a hoodie, sorry, a t-shirt, cups, magnets, stickers, and also some movies too. So, get on that too. So we're going to be giving that away. So, like you said, go check all that stuff out and check out Chris as well and everybody that he mentioned.
Yeah, I'll send you all that stuff as soon as we get off this. Thank you so much, Ryan, and everybody else. Thank you for making it a Talkbuster night or day or whenever you're listening. And please be kind, rewind. Have a good night.